and irrigation water, and the expansion of treatment ponds. Together, these updates provide vital support for agriculture in our region. We're investing in transportation, with new roads being built in the Broadmoor area as open land transforms into neighborhoods, schools, and shopping centers, keeping travel safe for drivers and pedestrians alike. A new roundabout at the intersection of Court Street and Road 68 keeps traffic flowing smoothly on two major arterials in our city. We've doubled capacity at the West Pasco Water Treatment Plant and built additional transmission mains and a storage tank to continue to distribute water to all customers. Still ahead, we're planning for significant upgrades to the Butterfield Water Treatment Plant as our team continues delivering on the projects outlined in our ambitious 6-year capital improvements plan. Low-interest loans were secured for several major utility projects supporting vital infrastructure with lesser burden on ratepayers. And we're using new state and federal grants to improve safety on roads and sidewalks across the city, making it easier for residents to stay active and connected.
We're working to protect Pasco residents at every level. To improve our emergency response, the fire department recently replaced 3 structure engines, updated several medic units, and added an additional wildland unit to our fleet. We're also investing in new technologies, such as outfitting every medic unit with cutting-edge cardiac defibrillators and laryngoscopes, all aimed at providing a higher level of care to the thousands of patients we provide EMS to on a yearly basis. One of our strengths is the strong working relationship we have with our law enforcement team. We are currently partnering on a new drone program which allows drones piloted by Pasco police officers to assist our crews on fires and during rescue operations. This type of collaboration significantly enhances our ability to serve our community.
The Pasco Police Department has expanded its drone program to help track suspects and enforce traffic laws more safely, reducing the risk of high-speed pursuits. But technology is only part of the story. Pasco Police are meeting with residents face-to-face, hosting district meetings, and partnering with business leaders to strengthen community trust and collaboration. The community feedback also helps us focus our attention on reducing hotspots, making more of our staff time and resources.
When police anywhere in the Tri-Cities get an animal call, they can partner with our animal control officers at Tri-Cities Animal Services. Our new building has dedicated spaces for handling sick or injured animals, plus an in-house vet's office and improved spaces where families looking to adopt can meet potential pets. But that's just one of the new facilities opened in Pasco this year. This summer, we celebrated a new sporting complex on A Street, giving more Pasco families access to athletic fields closer to home. Downtown at the Pasco Specialty Kitchen, we installed new equipment, a new vendor window, and an outdoor seating area, expanding opportunities for local entrepreneurs. We've invested in Gisa Stadium improvements to ensure that the facility meets MLB requirements and continues providing a safe sports entertainment experience for fans and players alike. And of course, with over 300 days of sunshine each year, we make the most of our outdoor spaces. Thousands join us for events like Cinco de Mayo, the Grand Old 4th of July, the Fiery Foods Festival, Winterfest, and the Cable Bridge Run, celebrating our community all year long. Join us in 2026 for a once-in-a-generation watch party, where soccer fans from all over the region will be able to gather and cheer on their favorite teams as they compete in one of the world's biggest sporting events.
From community and infrastructure and safety to housing, business and recreation, Pasco continues to grow with purpose. Together, we're building a city that's stronger, smarter, and ready for the future.
We're forging the future of the city of Pasco, and we need your voice. The city is updating our comprehensive plan, which covers everything from housing and transportation to utilities and parks. This document showcases the vision of what we want Pasco to be in 2046 and beyond. Tell us about the type of businesses you'd like to see, the types of parks you'd like to visit, and the type of neighborhood you want to live in. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit pasco-wa.gov/comp-plan and become part of the future.
I think the biggest part is I am a police officer here at the school. I have duties here. I'm here to protect the school and keep everybody safe, but I am a normal person too.
Pasco Police Officer Eric Maddox is one of 3 school resource officers assigned to the Pasco School District high schools. He says finding ways to connect with students is a critical part of the job.
It is building those relationships to where they feel comfortable enough that they can come and talk to me about anything. When the kids feel comfortable being around me and coming to talk to me, and that happens a lot, they'll come into my door here in my office and, hey, can I talk to you? And that just doesn't happen. They just don't come up to an officer and randomly tell them their life story to you.
Many students in Pasco high schools will have already met Pasco police officers thanks to the School Resource Officer program in our middle schools.
I love doing this. It's something that I wanted to do as an extra thing that we do as officers.
Officer Ismael Cano has been a school resource officer for over a decade.
I always wanted to do the SRO thing. I wanted to come and work at the schools and work with students.
He's hoping to build connections early and keep students on the right track.
There's some kids that probably already have a negative thing about us, but sometimes they do overcome that and they come and they start talking to me, or I'll talk to them, I'll start a conversation. Some kids get to the point where they come up and they play around with me. That's a great feeling to be able to do that with them sometimes.
It's a lot of work to build connections with teens and preteens, but it pays off.
You're going to have a lot of conversations, and sometimes there are going to be a lot of tough conversations. And just being mentally prepared to handle all of those on a daily basis.
They're 10, 11 years old, 12 years old, and they're using social media sometimes for bad things like that. And I try to teach them not to get involved in that kind of stuff and social media. You have to have more patience and understanding when you're dealing with students. You gotta use incidents more of as a teaching moment, especially with middle schoolers because they're a lot younger.
Social media and home life can spill into school hours, and in those cases, having a school resource officer can make a big difference.
There are some difficult things that we have to deal with here, and sometimes we have to reach out to our outside resources, whether that be CPS or whatever else resources that we need to get a hold of, whatever the situation is. It might not always be law enforcement needed, but they might need a resource that is needed, and that I can help make that connection for them.
Tonight, we're having a listening session on the Shoreline Master Program. The project that we're working on, developing a user guide and permit tracking system, is funded through a state grant. Washington State Department of Ecology is funding this effort. So we are working for the state, well, we're working for the city through a grant from the state. So tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about the Shoreline Management Act, just so that we're all on the same level of understanding, the Shoreline Master Program that the city has in place, the user guide that's a draft. It's a easier way to understand the Shoreline Master Program that the city has in place, how it works, what the requirements are, and then it points you to where you can get more details in the city code. We'll review the specific scope that the state's funded for the city to do. And again, most importantly, we want to answer your questions, listen to your input, and factor that in going forward. One thing I want to make clear is that the city is not modifying their Shoreline Master Program at this time. We went through a process a couple years ago with the Planning Commission and City Council to do some very minor updates to that master program. And so what we're talking tonight is really more about how the program is implemented. And so the user guide focuses on that implementation. Your comments, questions. We also want to hear what you think about implementation, where you think things are working well, where there's opportunities for improvement, that kind of thing. And then we'll conclude with next steps. So the Shoreline Management Act was passed in the early 70s, and it was put in place to have a more coordinated development of the shoreline, or to basically end piecemeal and uncoordinated development. And so there were several master programs that were developed in the early 70s, including the city of Pasco. And then in the early 2000s, the Washington State Department of Ecology updated their Shoreline Master Program guidelines. And then the city of Pasco went through a comprehensive update of their Shoreline Master Program from like 2013, 2014 to 2017. And that was a major rewrite. And again, I was the project manager for that effort, so we developed a kind of completely new program for the city that met all the latest requirements. And then the Shoreline Master Program that the city adopted in 2017 and then updated in 2023 is the program that governs development of the shorelines. And so where are the shoreline areas? It's really a very narrow strip of shoreline area within the city. So it's along the Columbia River and the Snake River, and it's just that 200-foot band. If you can see that band there in yellow, that represents 200 feet basically from where the vegetation starts on the shoreline, 200 feet out, or 200 feet upland, and that's where the program regulates and applies. Okay? You can see in the bottom there's a green polygon. That represents a wetland, and that it's bisecting that 200 feet. That is an associated wetland. In the case of a wetland like that, where it's bifurcated, shoreline jurisdiction bumps out. In the city, on the west corner of the Columbia River as it starts to head north, there's a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers property just past Chiawana Park. And in that area, there's a very extensive wetland. And so in that area, shoreline jurisdiction bumps out quite a ways and follows the edge of that wetland, and then it bumps back in once the slope gets a little steeper and heads up from there. There aren't any lakes in the city of Pasco that are in shoreline jurisdiction, so we're just looking at the Snake and the Columbia River. Floodways are also included, and then we talked about associated wetlands. So one of the things that is unique about the Shoreline Master Program is that in one set of regulations, you have to balance environmental protection, public access, and water-oriented uses. You think about like city zoning. City zoning is focused on development, right? How does development happen? Then they have a critical areas code that is how you protect the wetlands and steep slopes and fish and wildlife habitat. And Aaron and the other planning members, planning department staff, have to then take those regulations and kind of put them together so that it works, so that you comply with the zoning and you protect wetlands and other resources through the critical areas code. In the Shoreline Master Program, it's all blended together as one program. And so it can be a little challenging to try and meet all the different requirements and achieve that balance. We've tried to develop a balanced program. Hopefully it's working fairly well for the city. So what is included in a Shoreline Master Program? There's a goals and policies section. So what are we trying to accomplish with the program in a lot of different areas? So think about, the environmental protection, public access, and allowing for uses. There are goals related to each of those and policies as well. And then there's regulations. Regulations for specific areas. What we did is we took the whole shoreline for the city and we divided it up into reaches and then placed.
Good evening and welcome to the City of Pasco Council regular meeting. The council thanks you for being a part of your city government. At meetings, the city council takes formal action on items, holds public hearings, and conducts other business of the city. Agenda packets are available on the City of Pasco's website at www.pasco-wa.gov/agenda. This meeting is also being televised live on PSC-TV, channel 191, on Spectrum Cable in Pasco and Richland, and is streamed on the city's Facebook page, website, YouTube channel, and Microsoft Teams webinar. This and previous council meeting video is available on the city's website. Lastly, the public may submit their comments and or questions by contacting the city manager, city clerk, or by using the Ask Pasco app. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Campos.
Here.
Cotta.
Here.
Figueroa.
Present.
Hernandez.
Present.
Perellis.
Here.
Milne.
Present.
Grimm.
Here.
7 members present.
Thank you. And as we do the pledge, I'd love all of these young people to come up. I'm going to come down there and join me to lead the Pledge of Allegiance, if everyone would rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, young people. Moving on to number 4, the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by a roll call vote as one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If further discussion is desired by council members, the item may be removed from the consent agenda to the regular agenda and considered separately. Letter A, approval of meeting minutes for April 6. B, bills and communications approving claims in the total amount of $7,775,038.99 and write-off totaling, I need help there. Maybe I'm going to dig. $2,350,723.66. Letter C, resolution number 4728, professional services agreement, amendment number 1 with RH2 Engineering Incorporated for design services for the Foster Wells Lift Station Improvement Project. Would any members of council like to remove any of these from the consent agenda? Not seeing any. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the consent agenda as read.
Second. Motion on the floor by the Mayor Pro Tem to approve the consent agenda as read, seconded by Councilmember Perales. Madam Clerk, if you'd take a roll call vote, please.
Campos,
Yes.
Cotta,
Yes.
Figueroa,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Perales,
Yes.
Milne,
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you. Moving on quickly to number 6, the public may address council on any items unless it relates to a scheduled public hearing. This item is provided to allow the opportunity to bring items to the attention of the city council or to express an opinion on an issue. Its purpose is not to provide a venue for debate or for the posing of questions with the expectation of immediate response. Some questions require consideration by council over time, and after a deliberative process with input from a number of different sources, some questions are best directed to staff members who have access to specific information. Citizen comments will be normally limited to 3 minutes each. Those with lengthy messages are invited to summarize their comments and or submit written information for consideration by the council outside of formal meetings. Lastly, when called upon, please state your name and city or county of residency into the microphone before providing your comments. We'll now open up public comments. And again, thank you everybody in the chamber for your grace in our 30 minutes tardiness starting this meeting. If anybody would like to address the council, please step forward to the microphone.
Yes, I know some folks were kind of.
Thank you. Anybody want to address the council? Yep. Mr. Gonzalez, come on up. Name and city or county of residence for the record, please.
Mike Gonzalez, 7819 Cassiar Drive in Pasco. So thank you. Good evening, Mayor Graham, council members, and City Manager Stewart. Thank you for the warm welcome. Really appreciate that. Staff and old colleagues, it's great to be back here. Mike Gonzalez, once worked in City Hall. So currently serving as a city manager, small little town just outside of Tri-Cities. So I really understand how difficult it can be to be in public service. I'm also a real estate agent in Tri-Cities, but tonight I'm here on behalf of the Latin Business Association, where I serve as the executive director in a volunteer role in a consultant capacity. I do it for free because I love Pasco. I really do. It's where I call home, and it's really where I want to be for a long time. Tonight is really about moving forward. It's about setting a path for downtown and the entire core of this city. So I want to thank Leo Perales, who's been a really big supporter of ours. He's outspoken, but I think everybody knows that for certain. Also want to recognize our founder, David Cortinez. David loves Pasco. He's always fought for the Latino people. At times we know David is a lightning rod, but when he's speaking on issues, he does it because he deeply cares. When he does it, he's not always the most popular person in the room, but his passion for the community you can never doubt. David knows LBA is bigger than him. It's why he understands it's time to pass the torch. LBA includes 114 businesses and an executive board made up of respected community members. I formerly served as Pasco's Economic Development Manager for a couple of years. During that time, I helped remove the notorious Thunderbird Motel marketed Broadmoor. Also worked on the downtown master plan. I also served as a liaison for DPDA, and despite what you may have heard or watched a video that I hope you don't watch on YouTube, I was actually the one who reported financial controls were not being followed. As a result, we brought in Darcy Buckley, who helped stabilize the situation. With DPDA gone, there's a real void in Pasco right now. There is no centralized entity for downtown activation, cultural events, or small business support. That's where we believe we can fill that void through business support, helping the farmers market, the specialty kitchen, and by creating a stronger bilingual connection between small business and City Hall. We also plan to move away from the name Latin Business Association and to not really adopt a name that really reflects the vision, culture, and unity of Pasco. Once that transition is complete and our new flag is flying, we look forward to sharing our vision more publicly. So if you don't know, our office is in downtown, right in the post office. We're proud to be a part of Cinco de Mayo for the third year in a row. I've also already reached out to Mayor Grimm, Milne, and also Mr. Perales and Mr. Coda. So
Mr.
thank you so
Gonzalez,
much and really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Anybody else for public comment? Could step right on up. Is that you, Miss Mahoney? Come on up.
Mary Mahoney, Pasco resident, to Pasco regarding the Pasco Aquatic Center or Pasco officials' retirement plan. Aquatic Director Matt Watkins is paid by our tax dollars nearly $11,000 per month plus expenses. Provide his passport and costs for his new house and an audit for Watkins Endeavor LLC. Provide the total tax dollars paid to Mr. Watkins' partners, Pasco City Attorney Lee Kerr and proxies. Phase 1 of the Aquatic Center exceeds $40 million. Provide a total cost for all future aquatic phases to be paid by our tax dollars. Compare Yakima Aquatic Center's total cost at $11 million. Regarding animal control, provide the repayment of the $545,000 donated by our local veteran, Mr. Ashby, in his will to be used for homeless dogs and cats. Instead, Animal Control Julie Chambers ciphered off $300,000 of that donation and bought a house. Provide a total repayment of that donation. Provide a total repayment of the rainy day fund paid by our tax dollars, stolen or missing, with Animal Control rehire Angela Zeiler. Animal Control TCAS has no spay-neuter clinic. It would decrease the number of dogs and cats trafficked to WSU. See files. Provide the total tax dollars paid to Animal Control from WSU for our dogs and cats to be used for research at WSU, then they're killed. Provide the total tax dollars made by Animal Control TCAS with the usage pay system or pet owner fines. Provide results for the 48 counts of animal cruelty at Animal Control, and provide truthful, not false euthanasia training certificates at Animal Control. See the Washington State Attorney General file. Provide Pasco City Attorney Lee Kerr's notice to or from the Washington State Bar regarding Mr. Kerr's authorization of no due process at Animal Control. Next, provide a floodplain permit number 404 with Flood and Clean Water Act reports and fines paid by Pasco and spot zoning developers Hayden Homes for killing our 8 floodplain American bald eagles and eaglets and our floodplain migratory Canadian geese. Provide ULID LID designs for my property with start dates, cost, notice, harassment, and retaliation against me on my property. See Ike Meyer Roundy for Pasco's Playbook on YouTube 5/23/22 regarding indentured servitude plans for homeowners. Provide all investigations and audits for the above. All requests are for the record via RCW 42.56 with notice to Pasco.
Thank you, Ms. Mahoney. Anybody else in the chamber want to address council? Step right on up. Thank you. Name and city or county residents for the record, please.
Name is Bob Mangione, Franklin County. Good evening, Mayor and Council. As stated, I'm Bob Mangione. I'm joined by my wife, Marisol, our son, Matthew, and our friends and neighbors. As several on the council know, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer back in 2023. Through the prayers of hundreds and our own deep faith, we're declaring healing. However, a spinal tumor compromised my ability to work in our contracting business established in 2009 as I once did. We hope the city will soon approve short-term rentals so we can generate a semi-passive income. We hope. At the height of our cancer battle, many beautiful people donated $60,000 to keep us from losing our home. To remain self-sufficient, a short-term rental is now critical for our family's future. Through our extensive research, our amenities and price point will likely attract discerning guests respecting our home and neighborhood. Our 4-bedroom home features 2 Master King suites and a flex room offering a total of 3 king beds, very rare in the Columbia Basin, and highly attractive for multi-generational families. We have a beautiful gourmet kitchen with natural gas, a gas fireplace, massage chair, professional cinema suite, and a Queen Anne formal dining for 12. The home includes HVAC air purification and a water softener. We intend to add an RO system, a large hot tub, extra large gazebo, outdoor lighting, and speakers. We'll maintain the home impeccably with our commercial-grade vapor steam cleaner. With a 60-foot monitored driveway near the boat launch and 100% neighbor support, we're positioned for success. We intend to live in our shop at the back of our property. 21 contractors donated $31,000 to renovate this space for free community automotive care. With their blessing, we will complete the build-out to live on-site, providing hands-on oversight and maintain excellence for our guests. With 16 years' experience in hospitality and public relations, including organizing large, historic, and newsworthy events in Spokane, LeGrand, and here in the Tri-Cities, I'd be honored to volunteer as a liaison for Pasco. I'm ready to help implement an STR program, potentially as a pilot, as other cities have done successfully. Our goal is to elevate our STR standards to the point of pursuing regional and even national recognition. In closing, if nothing else lingers tonight, it's this. Despite the medical, emotional, and economic burden cancer has placed on our family, we're going to do this right. With true integrity, what it looks like for others, and especially for our son, and give God glory. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mangione. And yeah, as you referenced, this is it coming up in our upcoming meetings. So yeah, it is a topic we're going to tackle. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Appreciate it. Anybody else like to address council on this or any other issue? Good evening, Ms. Wade.
So, making sure. Okay, good evening. My name is Amber Wade, who moved here to Pasco in 2021. I remember standing in a council meeting when Richland was asking for support regarding fireworks, and I remember hearing council members saying something about not wanting to play in other people's backyards. I want to bring that back up today because this is exactly the moment where that thinking matters. Because when we focus on my backyard versus your backyard, we miss what is right in front of us. From October through December, my mobile home park went through without water from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. day after day after day. Over 100 people were affected. During that time, not one city council member helped us. No porta potties or toilets were provided. No bottled water was distributed by ownership or management. People were left to figure out on their own. But someone did show up. Someone, my name, Chandra. She did not even live here in Pasco, and she was battling cancer, just like this individual here. And she came and helped anyways. Her and her husband, Juan, brought water. They brought food. They helped my neighbors. They showed up when people needed it most. And even when this last month, she helped me out with food because I did not have any. This last Friday, I got a call from her husband letting me know that she had lost her battle to cancer. excuse me. This is what community looks like. My friend Chandra was what helped us. She didn't live here in Pasco. She lived in Kennewick. And when I needed help, she came. You did not come. She came while she was dying. She brought my neighbors food. She helped transport, her and her husband transported a refrigerator to those in need. Her funeral is tomorrow. The family does not have the funds to pay for it. I am trying to start a estate sale. My name is Amber Wade, W-A-I-D Carter. You can find more information on how to help this family, because when Pasco needed help, she showed up. And you did not. And you can talk a big game, you can do whatever you want to do, and I know you have politics, but a lady dying of cancer came to help our community, our people, not you. So please, as Pasco, we need to remember to play in other people's backyards because they do help us. So we need to give back to those who came to help when we needed it most. And I believe that is who we are as Pasco residents. We are going to say thank you, and you have the opportunity now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wade. Appreciate your heartfelt comments. Anybody else in the chamber? Please step right on up. Name and city or county of residence for the record, please.
My name is Camara Brooks, and I live in Walla Walla County. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Camara Brooks, and I own Tri-Cities 911 Driving School. We primarily serve students between ages 18 and 15, young drivers who are just beginning to develop habits and judgment that will stay with them for a lifetime. I'm not here to debate the legalities of marijuana businesses, but we happen to have one right next door to us. I'm here to speak about real daily impacts and having marijuana dispensary operating in close proximity as our youth-focused driver training facility. Every day our mission is to teach responsibility, awareness, and life and death consequences of impaired driving. For many of our students, this is the first time behind the wheel. This is a critical stage in decision-making skills they are developing, and the environment around them really matters. Unfortunately, the environment surrounding our school is working against this mission. On a daily basis, our staff cleans up alcohol containers and drug paraphernalia and from our parking lot and landscaping. This is not occasional, this is continuous. We are also encountering individuals in the immediate area who are impaired, and at times they act and approach our students, and often they are currently using right outside of our front doors. Additionally, we are seeing more situations involving the struggling with impairment, mental health challenges, as well as unstable behavior. This raises real safety concerns, not only for our students, parents, and our staff. There are also traffic safety concerns. We see people going through our parking lot. I always say at Mach 1, it's a little over-exaggerated, but not by much. It's a real safety concern when we have beginner students learning how to just park and navigate traffic, and we have to deal with this. Parents trust us with their children, and they expect a safe and structured and professional environment, one that reinforces that things we are teaching in the classroom as well as behind the wheel. Right now, trust is being put at risk by the factors completely outside of our control. This is not just opposing a business. It is about recognizing that certain businesses are not compatible to be placed side by side, especially when one serves minors and is structured to teaching environment, and then we have something like a dispensary right next door. I am asking council to take a serious look at the situation and consider what is appropriate when considering zoning, placement, and protecting youth center services. Because this just isn't about this one location, it's about our standards and life and death responsibilities. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your important perspective. Anybody else in the council chamber want to address the council tonight? Step right on up, ma'am. Come on up. We have a public hearing tonight on a transportation benefit district, and so we'll take comments on that at the time. That's the purpose of a public hearing. Anything else, though, this is the appropriate time to address council, and the only time. Thank you. Name and city of residence, please.
Janine Hummer. I just recently, about 3.5 weeks ago, moved back to Pasco from Richland. I'm here as a character reference, I guess, for Bob Mangione and Marisol. And dogs are the best judge of character sometimes. And I'm bringing this up because after my husband, Billy Tuttle, had died, he and Marisol and their crew came over and washed my windows at my house and later did some maintenance around the house and yard. And the neighbor dog, Rocky, was a yellow or some kind of retriever who had been abused, and he barked and barked, and he was vicious, acting to everyone. But Bob was able to talk to him quietly, and he let him pet him. So I'm saying that he's the only person I ever saw this dog not get mean at. So Bob and Marisol have recruited me for many things to help them out, like to make lumpia for fundraisers, and for working at the Christian concerts at the Toyota Center, like in the merchandise center, selling for the singers. And he has gone through this really tough time physically with cancer, but he has never lost his faith in God, and we are seeing kind of a miracle that he's, conquering cancer. But I know it's brought financial concerns for the family. And so I have run my own midterm rental in Richland. And I know that this would be a big help to their family to be able to use their home as a short-term rental. I know that he's very good at recruiting, and I know he'd be very, very good at screening people, because he would want people in his home that would be safe around his young son, Matthew, and his wife, Marisol. So I'm just asking you to consider allowing him and approving for him to have a short-term rental at his home. Thank you.
Thank you for your heartfelt comments. Appreciate that. Yes, sir. Step right on up. Thank you.
Yes, Martinez, Benton County. On behalf of Mangione and his wife, Marisol, as well, his little son, Matthew. Same thing, just want to speak on his character. I met Bob through a Facebook tag, and that was the perfect opportunity to let you guys understand that a stranger can become a neighbor. And right now, today, you guys have the privilege of knowing Bob now. He's no longer a stranger. He's a neighbor. He's part of the community. And the community is unity, and we need to stick together and embrace one another. And this thing can help his family, and he can continue to have an honor and integrity to provide for his wife and his son, to continue to do the things that most of us can do effortlessly. So I'm just here to let you guys know and say it'd be just a privilege to approve this, and just even give it a consideration that this man is a very organized person. He's helped me. I'm a business owner as well, and he's helped me structure my business in a better way to better myself and better my business. So if anybody is deserving, it is Bob Mangione and his family. So I just want to thank you guys for your time and take the consideration. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's always good to personalize these things, but when we make this decision, it's going to be for all of Pasco to be able to, yes, have this passive opportunity for income. Anybody else in the chamber? Step right on up, please.
Yeah, good evening, Council. Doug Perez, resident Kennewick. I just kind of wanted to comment in regards to our short-term rentals. I know last year, Councilmember Leo talked about allowing short-term rentals. I know your city staff was saying that they were they were banned, and you guys took that out from your city staff. So the last year or so, I do have an operator that runs short-term, mid-term, and long-term. And so we've been able to do it successfully in Pasco. And so I know putting in short-term rentals, regulating them is going to be a burden on the city because you're going to have city staff. And so something to think about for that. But I think it would be a great opportunity for Bob, and I hope I can chat with him later and help him out on that. So just want to put that on comment. So Doug Perez, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Perez. Appreciate it. Anybody else in the chamber like to address council? This is the time. Director Sarah, good evening.
Good evening. We do have some people online and in the audience that are here for the last item in the agenda related to PWRF annual review. And I wanted to confirm whether this would be the time for them to all speak, including the people online, or if comments would be allowed during that item. Thank you.
Let me just look ahead. Thank you. So you're saying to the last, they're in 11 and new business?
Yes.
Is this people you are calling on for like their expert opinion, or is this citizens, or?
These are customer of the utility.
Oh, I see. Oh, customers of the utility. I would think, let's keep those comments, I guess, until then. I think would be fine. I appreciate that. We'll probably still limit those to the 3 minutes, but that way we just have the continuity of the same discussion or whatever. Plus, I'm sure they might like to respond to the staff presentation too. So thank you so much for that point of clarification. Anybody else in council want to speak on any issue to us? Going once, going twice. We will close public comment. Now moving to council. Number 7, reports from committees and or officers. What have you guys been up to? Councilmember Hernandez, start us off.
I attended my first Citizen Police Academy. Is that it? Police Academy, the movies. It was actually very interesting. You should have all signed up. We had learned about traffic stops and how 911 works in our area, and we had a practice with officers outside. We played cops and they played traffic violators. So it was a lot of fun, and I will continue on for 10 more weeks. Officer Decker is the instructor, so he's really good. So. It goes on tomorrow and every Tuesday for 10 weeks. So I may be talking about it more, I guess. And also, for the first time, I've done the taco crawl, which I didn't know how it worked exactly. Now I know. And we should all buy a booklet. They're $45 at the C&D Little Wine Shop. It also benefits the Boys and Girls Club and our local taco vendors. So we should all. I know Councilman Campos bought one, so we should all. I bought one, so we should all go buy one.
Pressure's on.
Yeah, the pressure's on to all go get one at the C&D Little Wine Shop in downtown Pasco. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilmember Hernandez. No, really appreciate you being part of the academy too. I've heard nothing but good things from both citizens and council about how good that is. So I'm grateful that you're able to attend and fit that in your schedule. Councilmember Campos.
Yeah, I attended the LRA housing outreach with several other council members. It was great to see a bigger turnout this time, and we anticipate to have even more turnout in the next 2 that we have. But we had just heard from the citizens about what their opinion is on the LRA housing, and so it was great to hear a passionate conversation. Everyone there is against it and wants to do their part, and so it was a great turnout and really excited for what that was and what's going to come in the future. Also on Thursday, I attended the Franklin County Emergency Management Board meeting, and they gave us some information that there was a nuclear plant exercise on March 24th, and there's like 250 people that participated in this, and they did a hostile action-based exercise. and they explained everything. And it was really cool. The exciting piece was that FEMA said there was no findings issued, so everything went well with that. And they will give a final report later in June. And then coming to us a little bit later on too is the Community Wildfire Protection Plan and the Hazard Mitigation Plan. So we look forward to seeing that as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Councilmember Cotta.
Yeah, it was a busy week last week. There was the City Improvement Plan and Transportation Improvement Plan meetings where we heard citizens talk about issues that they have, questions that they have about city streets and infrastructure and transportation. And then we had that LRA meeting, which was to notify the public about the state's procedure for implementing sexual predators into our communities. And so that turned into more probably of an activism kind of a meeting than anything else. But I would encourage everybody to attend. We're going to have a couple more of those meetings. And it's going to take all of us to fight this thing. I also went to Calvary Christian School and did mock interviews with the high schoolers over there. And then went over to WSU and had kind of a coffee. Well, it was kind of a cool thing. They had these free vouchers for coffee if you went and talked to the city officials. So they brought us there to be able to talk to the college kids about local government. And so they would come and then we'd give them a coupon for a free coffee, and that was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Councilmember Figueroa.
Yeah, so just to kind of go off with what Councilmember Cotta said, I was also had the privilege to attend that with him, and I think WZ Tri-Cities knows college students. I mean, I remember those times, anything free, you show up. So, but it was good conversations with this age group. Conversations on behalf of housing, affordable housing, as these young adults are beginning to kind of graduate and go into their job sector, infrastructure, public spaces, and even economic development, as some of them are planning to be small business owners. And I was, of course, championing City of Pasco to be the best place to be and reside and live and come and do business. Alongside with that, on Thursday, I was able to meet with the Tri-Cities Alianza Youth Leadership Council just on the third floor. And that was a phenomenal experience because there were 7 high school students who came out and just presented a topic that was near and dear to their heart. And the topic that they wanted to talk about was teen drug abuse. And so that was really important to kind of hear the presentation about how their peers, peer pressure, and how a lot of these issues are affecting our schools and even our community. And so that was really important to kind of hear them out. And again, it was a really cool experience because I always said, as a high school student, I never thought that I was going to be in City Hall and talking to elected officials. So for them was a first time. Being able to have the opportunity was amazing. And then also, I was able to be at the 63rd annual Pasco Invite last Saturday, able to volunteer and help out in one of the biggest track and field events in the Pacific Northwest. So that was exciting to kind of help out in that element. So very busy, and it's always good to incorporate our young adults into this civic engagement process.
Thank you. Yes, and I also participated with Councilmember Campos. We had our first meeting with the recruiter for our police chief, and just really wanted to let you know I appreciate your heart and just what you're hoping our next leader looks like, whether they are internal or whether it's someone that we find nationwide, who knows, perhaps worldwide at that matter. But thank you, just as far as what we might be looking for and what we're interested in. Also had a BFCOG meeting, Council of Governments, on Friday that was an earlier than usual meeting to make time for those that wanted to go out to the Columbia Valley Recovery Center. But as Councilmember Perales kind of noted, even though there's a little tiff, I think, between our counties, we as a city do contribute a fair amount of our sales tax to that, and would have been nice to be a part of that. Also, yes, attended that LRA housing outreach meeting, and the next one is on Wednesday the 29th. And it's at 4:30 at McLaughlin Middle School. And I just encourage the citizens to come out. And I am booked. That's the only one I'm not going to be able to make. So hopefully there's a good representation of council there. I told the Tri-City Chamber of Commerce that I would be part of their C-suite interview process for young adults and everything like that. So and I made that commitment quite a while ago. But anyways, it is really good. I know some of the public is a little sees LRA housing and doesn't understand what that is, but it's really the state imposing an unfunded mandate upon cities to take care of their sexual predators. That they have people there on site in those, but these homes, it's for people to resume what some would call a normal place in society. And whether we want to argue that or not's a whole other issue, but they want, the whole purpose of this is to put them around infrastructure and amenities and those kind of things we have within our community. The problem is that's around where also some of our most vulnerable people are. These are the state putting these sexual predators purposely within our neighborhoods, and it's we as council members can fight this, but it's really going to take the entire community, the entire Tri-Cities community. I am meeting with the other 3 mayors of the Quad Cities next week, and this is going to continue to be the topic of our discussion, but it's going to take the entire community. It's going to take more than just the councils. It's going to take 10, 20, 50,000 people to stand up and tell Olympia, the Department of Health and the Department of Corrections, no, do this another way. Don't do it on our dime. Don't do it in our cities. You figure this out. It's your problem, not ours. So I just hope the public, when we give that rally cry, that everyone comes around to fight this. Let's move on. Thank you, everybody, for your participation in the community. I know there's a lot going on. We're all being pulled in different directions. So anyways, number 8, hearings and council action and ordinances and resolutions relating thereto. Letter A is public hearing and ordinance number 4826, assuming powers of the Pasco Transportation Benefit District. And for this, we're going to our Deputy City Manager, Ms. Sigdell. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, and evening, Council. We're here to talk about do a public hearing on the Transportation Benefit District. So if you'd like to, would you like me to do a presentation and then conduct a
Yes,
public
please.
hearing?
Thank
Okay.
you.
I will move through this pretty quickly since we've discussed this quite a bit. Transportation Benefit District is a special purpose district that funds transportation improvement projects in a specific area. So council could pick a specific area within the city, or the whole city could be the Transportation Benefit District. The City Council is the governing board of the district, and it can hold separate meetings as the district, but it can also decide to assume the powers of the Transportation Benefit District, which is the topic at play today. As we've discussed before, Transportation Benefit District, you can do vehicle license fees, also called car tab fees, or sales tax. And these are some benchmarks with our neighboring cities. And you'll see 0.2% in Walla Walla compared to 0.1% in Kennewick and Richland. That additional 0.1% would have to be voted in by the people for additional transportation projects. 1/10, council can apply just a councilmanic vote. The fund needed are mostly for transportation projects. So street fund, we had a robust discussion last week about need to do traffic calming, where that funding comes from. We have had motor vehicle fuel taxes, which thanks to efficient fuel efficient vehicles and also electric vehicles, that revenue is declining. Similarly, the street fund has received utility taxes, which includes cable and telephone taxes. Cell phones do not get taxed as a telephone, so as you can imagine, both of those revenues have been declining over the years as more people do not get cable or do not have a landline. So we need to find more revenue to preserve our streets and do other transportation projects, which has been a challenge. And the street fund is scheduled to be in the negative by the end of this biennium. So you'll see some of the numbers there. Also at the same time, making management of streets and street fund more difficult. Our road miles have grown quite significantly, and our crew size has essentially stayed the same because of that funding constraint. So today, what we are asking council, you have created the district, you have identified the whole city as the geographic boundary of that district. You set resolution for public hearing for the city's intention to assume powers of the Transportation Benefit District. You'll conduct a public hearing today, and then the item in front of you is assuming the powers of the Transportation Benefit District. And the reason that staff is recommending that you assume the powers is because it is the most administratively efficient way to go. You can make decisions like you are right now as a part of the city's business. If you chose not to do it, then you'd have to meet as a district, administratively more difficult. Our finance department has to create financial reports. Very likely the reports need to get audited, additional cost. So most of the cities, the 124 cities that have adopted or created Transportation Benefit District have assumed the powers for those reasons. It's just financially and time-wise more effective and efficient. So that is what we have for you to consider today. And with that, I'm open to any questions you might have.
Anybody have any questions on council? Thank you. Deputy City Manager Richa for the presentation. Anybody have any questions? Seeing none, let's open this public hearing at this point. This public hearing is open. We will take public comment on the City Council assuming powers of a Pasco Transportation Benefit District that in a month or two ago we actually voted to form. So the floor is open. If anybody in the council chambers would like to speak in this public hearing on the City Council assuming powers of the Pasco Transportation Benefit District, now is the time. Going once, going twice, 3 times, not seeing anybody coming forward. Closing the public hearing. Any further comments from council? If you would, I'd like to ask one follow-up question. Maybe this is better for our Public Works Director, Director Sarah. If we can go back a couple slides, I really think it's important for the public to see just the growth, just the next one forward, if you'd be so kind, please, about the growth. Road miles, 23% since 2015 and 43% 2010. So are we really saying that we have not added any employees to the street crew? Obviously, if someone retired, we added them, but is it really the same number of people?
Yes, that is correct. Same number of dedicated employees, and it's truly a funding constraint. We can't afford with this fund without subsidy from another fund to absorb any new employee.
Okay, thank you. And I appreciate that clarification because I think it's important for the public to hear, because the public rightfully demands we are efficient with taxpayer dollars. I want that for my taxpayer dollars. And to see that our street crew size has remained unchanged since 2010, 16 years. And in that time, the mileage of roads has grown by 43%. It's truly a testament to yours and your predecessors just making it all work. So thank you, Director Sarah. I appreciate that. Anybody have any further questions or comments for staff? Hearing none. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to adopt ordinance number 4826, assuming the rights, powers, functions, immunities, and obligations of the Pasco Transportation Benefit District, providing for servability and establishing an effective date, authorizing publication by summary only.
Second. Motion on the floor by the Mayor Pro Tem to adopt ordinance number 4826, seconded by Councilmember Perales. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Moving on, letter B. This is also a public hearing. I said there was only one earlier. We do have a second one. And ordinance numbers 4827 and 4828. This is the Emergency Comprehensive Plan Land Use Map Management, CPA 2025-002, Low Density Residential Land Use Changes and Rezone of RS20, and the newly added parcels with associated text amendments, CA 2025-006 and Z 2025-011. And for this, we are going to Ms. Mattson. Good evening.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and thank you for bearing with the long title there. We did workshop this item back in February with the City Council. This is an emergency comprehensive plan amendment to rectify an inconsistency in code between the comprehensive plan and the RS20 zone. And there's some history shown on the screen that I've gone through. This has gone through a pretty extensive public process. The last time staff brought this forward to council for a decision on March 2nd, we had a request that came in to add 3 properties to this amendment. Those properties technically aren't an emergency comprehensive plan amendment, but staff reviewed it and felt that we would either need to be addressing that either with this or near the end of the year. So we figured it would be a lot more efficient for everyone involved, including staff, to include those 3 properties in this change. So I wanted to be clear on that. So we did add those 3 parcels that the mayor mentioned at the beginning in the title. And the map here shows the best depiction of where the changes are occurring. This is down in areas that are currently zoned for RS20. And that zone previously allowed for 2 units per acre to be constructed. And citywide, the comprehensive plan designation was 3 to 6 units. So there was a conflict, and we are now changing these areas shown in light yellow to redesignate the land use, which is also called the comprehensive plan designation, from 3 to 6 units per acre to allowing 2 to 5 units per acre. So we're reducing it on both ends by 1 unit. And then the zone that will replace the RS20 zone will now be RS15. And lot sizes will be reduced down to, I believe, 14,000, between 14 and 15,000 square feet. And the zone will allow 2 to 3 units per acre. So these are the areas, all of the areas included are the RS20 zone, and then those 3 additional parcels that were zoned, I believe RS12 before, in a higher density R1. So those 3 added parcels were going from a higher density to a lower density, which made staff feel that they could be incorporated into this pretty easily. We did, since the last meeting, need to retract the original SEPA notice and then process a new SEPA checklist for this. We've also revised both ordinances related to it. There's 2 separate motions here for this project. One is for the rezone and one is for the comprehensive plan amendment. And then had a public comment period. We did notice neighbors around those 3 properties just to be sure that they were notified. We did have a clarifying one comment from a neighbor asking, why are we increasing the density? And we let them know that the density was being reduced and didn't appear to have any issues. So didn't receive a lot of public feedback related to it. So tonight, a public hearing is required, even though it was held at the planning commission level, just for the whole thing, I would say, and the 3 extra properties. So asking that council hold a public hearing tonight and then consider approving the proposal in front of you and adopting both motions as read. And there's also a second comprehensive plan amendment that we would request be approved at the same time as this. So if one of them isn't approved, we need them both to come back together. They're stuck to each other, but we can work through that if we run into it. So happy to answer any questions that you have before opening the public hearing.
Thank you, Ms. Mattson. I appreciate the clarification regarding, because one of the biggest complaints we do hear about is densifying, and to let people know this is actually doing the opposite here. So I appreciate that. Any questions or comments for Ms. Mattson?
I just have one question.
Yes, sir.
So will applicants be able to use this code if it changes and implement septic where feasible, or are we just going to put this in motion as in theory and not do it and have them wait for sewer?
Septic can be an option for the lots that are a half acre size. So the 2 units can yield it. Not every lot, and the intent was not to allow every lot to construct septic. So if you do meet the half acre
Good evening and welcome to the City of Pasco Council meeting. The council thanks you for being a part of your city government. At meetings, the city council takes formal action on items, holds public hearings, and conducts other business of the city. Agenda packets are available on the City of Pasco's website at www.pasco-wa.gov/agenda. This meeting is also being televised live on PSC-TV, channel 191 on Spectrum Cable in Pasco and Richland, and is streamed on the city's Facebook page, website, YouTube channel, and Microsoft Teams webinar. This and previous council meeting video is available on the city's website. Lastly, the public may submit their comments and/or questions by contacting the city manager, city clerk, or by using the Ask Pasco app. With that, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Campos.
Here.
Carter.
Here.
Figueroa.
Present.
Hernandez.
Present.
Perales.
Present.
Milne.
Present.
Grimm.
Here. Thank you, everyone. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, very good. Moving on already, the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by a roll call vote as one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If further discussion is desired by council members, the item may be removed from the consent agenda to the regular agenda and considered separately. Letter A, approval of meeting minutes for July 27th, August 3rd, and August 10th. B, bills and communications approving claims in the total amount of $5,745,000 or $745,796.33. C, Franklin County Mosquito Control District Board of Trustees appointment of Mark Willer. D, Resolution 4774, adopting the City of Pasco Affordable Housing Policies and Procedures Manual for HB 1406 funds. E, Resolution 4775, updated Tri-Cities Home Consortium Citizen Participation Plan. Would anybody on council like to remove anything from the consent agenda? Not seeing any. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Milne to accept the consent agenda as read, seconded by Councilmember Perales. Madam Clerk, if you would make a roll call motion, or make a roll call vote.
Campos.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Figueroa.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Perales.
Yes.
Milne.
Yes.
Grimm.
Yes. Thank you. Number 5, proclamations and acknowledgements, not seeing any. 6, public comments. The public may address council on any items unless it relates to a scheduled public hearing, which we have one tonight. This item is provided to allow the opportunity to bring items to the attention of the City Council or to express an opinion on an issue. Its purpose is not to provide a venue for debate or for the posing of questions with the expectation of immediate response. Some questions require consideration by council over time and after a deliberative process with input from a number of different sources. Some questions are best directed to staff members who have access to specific information. Citizen comments will normally be limited to 3 minutes each. Those with lengthy messages are invited to summarize their comments and/or submit written information for consideration by the council outside of formal meetings. Lastly, when called upon, please state your name and city or county of residency into the microphone before providing your comments. And with that, public comments are open. Thank you, Ms. Mahoney. Step right on up.
That on?
Yes, and you can raise it up so we can hear you more clearly too if you want, ma'am, the microphone that is. Thank you.
You have a battery rolling here. Don't start that, please. Mary Mahoney, this is an amendment to my comments and requests for records and includes those documents I provided to Councilman Leo Perales on 7/2/26, including the WSU contract and due process violations, all authorized by Pasco City Attorney Lee Kerr and more. On our local news, Tri-Cities Animal Services, TCAS, Animal Control, I'll call it Animal Control, estimated there could be 50,000 homeless cats roaming the Tri-Cities, and that the community needs to spay and neuter their pets. With that, what, where, and how does the animal control plan to reduce their own projection of 50,000 roaming homeless cats? Provide the number of cats animal control has spayed and neutered in 2026. Provide the number of cats euthanized in 2026 at animal control. Provide the number of cat adoptions for 2026 at animal control. Provide any TNR programs at animal control, that is trap, neuter, and release. Provide the number of cats and dogs, dead or alive, sent to WSU for research and the money paid by WSU for those research cats and dogs. Provide the number of low-cost spay neuters performed at animal control for cats and dogs in 2026. Provide a comparison of all of our tax dollars to be spent on the Pasco Aquatic Center versus all of our tax dollars to be spent on a low-cost spay-neuter clinic for our dogs and cats. Provide a total tax dollars to be, all of our tax dollars to be spent on the Pasco Aquatic Center's Phase 2 and Phase 3, include payments to ex-Pasco Mayor Matt Watkins and Watkins Endeavor LLC, and payments to Pasco City Attorney Lee Kerr and proxies. Mr. Watkins just bought a new house, and regarding the Pasco Aquatic Center, he's paid approximately $11,000 per month, plus his travel expenses. Provide his passport. The Pasco Aquatic Center's Phase 1, or as Pasco calls it now, Phase 1, the Fun Phase. Fun Phase number 1 has cost the taxpayers over $43 million. All records, documents, and materials are requested via RCW 42.56 and are included to put Pasco on notice.
Thank you, Ms. Mahoney. Anyone else in the chamber want to address council? Yes, sir. One of our former council members.
Honorable council and management. In the last few weeks, I've had the opportunity to spend a little bit of time on the Mississippi River on a cruise and happened to read a book from the library by John Grisham, The Summons, a part of which was casinos on the Mississippi River in Mississippi. So that brought to my attention the debate taking place about the legality of riverboat casinos on the Mississippi River, which took me, as somebody who is interested in history and teaches history, about from Wikipedia what has been going on in Mississippi and other states, which is basically that since the 80s, there's been a number of debates over the years on the legality of gambling in states like Mississippi bordering the Mississippi River, and the efforts to contain the gambling on riverboats and not on land during that period of time. With the issue of casinos surfacing here in Pasco, it seems to me to draw some of the similarities that could be drawn if we had more time to get into that, but whatever the reasons were why it was resisted so hotly and consistently in the states along the Mississippi, I think apply here to Pasco with a conclusion that gambling inland in Pasco is not a good thing for Pasco, and I'm here to oppose anything that would bring Pasco have with gambling on a large scale within its boundaries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. Anybody else in the chambers like to address council?
This is the first time I've ever got up here and spoke. My name is David Pulliam. We moved up here 7 years ago from Cowichy. My wife's a USDA inspector. We've got a 7-year-old boy, and every time we go to a park here in Pasco, all we smell is marijuana. We smell it everywhere, in Walmart parking lots, McDonald's parking lots, wherever. And I see on the news where you guys are thinking about actually making more pot shops here in town. And I don't see where any one of you here could actually think about legalizing drugs anymore. When I was a kid back in the 70s and 80s, you know, pot wasn't like it was today. It's more addictive. It's more like heroin, coke. And any one of you guys that think it's okay to do that shouldn't be up here. Should not have a job thinking that it's okay to think it's okay to legalize drugs. That's all you're doing is legalizing drugs. You guys already legalized so many shops already. Do we need any more? Because what you're doing is telling our kids it's okay to be potheads. Because everywhere you go, you smell marijuana. And when I first moved up here, you didn't smell that stuff everywhere. But you smell it everywhere now. And if you legalize Legends Casino coming in here and buying, you know, the building, and everything, what's that going to bring in? That's going to bring in more drugs. It's going to bring in prostitution. And, you know, we don't want that around here. Pasco's a good place to raise kids. And I want to keep it that way. Why don't you guys just keep owning it ourselves? And let venues, people coming in, you know, and having venues there. You know, like the John Deere, you know, and Crafts Place come in there. Don't sell it. Don't let somebody else come in and do something with it. Do not sell it to to a casino where drugs, because you know what? When a casino comes in, what's going to happen? Bad elements. Drugs are going to come in, prostitution is going to come in, and if you guys legalize these other pot shops going to come in, more drugs. Because what happens when more drugs come in? More homeless, more druggies, everywhere. And we don't want that. I know you guys don't really want it. I don't want it for my son. Because everywhere we go, we walk the bridge up here every morning, me and my son try to. And you get people up there smoking it. You go to Richland, you know, across that, you smell pot all the time. You smell it everywhere here in town. And come on, get some common sense. No more. Can you guys tell me that? Can each one of you guys tell me this right now, today? Raise your hands if you guys are not going to allow it.
Thank you. This is not a time for.
See, he's willing to do it, but you're not.
I understand.
You're not. And if you're not, you shouldn't lose your job.
Yes.
You lose your job.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. And just for no, please. Just for a point of clarification too, the city does not actually own the Hapo Center. It's controlled by the county currently. So some of those requests, yes, would be best directed to the Board of Commissioners at the county. They would be the one to help.
You guys try.
Thank you. Yes, appreciate that. Okay. Anybody else in the chamber like to address council? Anybody online? No? Okay, with that, let's move on. Number 7, reports from committees and/or officers. Mr. Cotta.
Yeah, I had the chance to attend the Columbia Basin Health Association Clinic grand opening. And so it's a beautiful building. They expressed their ability to serve anyone that comes in. They're trying to offer various amounts of services to whatever the needs are for people. So I look forward to the success of that, building that community, that medical community to help the people with whatever's ailing them. They appreciated being closer to the agricultural fields to be able to help who's coming in from the fields and just service the needs of the Pasco health. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Figueroa.
Yeah, so Friday I had the opportunity to attend alongside Councilmember Campos here, the 3rd annual Back to School Teacher Appreciation event put on by Restore City Church. And we were able to kind of share some words to the educators getting ready for another school year. I know that a lot of our educator friends are kind of getting back to the classroom and preparing their classes and setting up their desks and making sure that everything is accommodating for our students that will be back. So it was a great time, a lot of local vendors, a lot of great time, and filled with a good environment of what Pasco is all about. You know, appreciating our educators, but also, you know, having local vendors and supporting local. So it was a really good environment.
Thank you. Mr. Perales.
Thank you much. I attended the Association of Washington Cities Legislative Priorities webinar today. It was a lot of good information, a lot of issues that I would think I'm not on par for, but you know, it's great to kind of hear a diverse, perspectives from, everyone across the state. There were so many people on this webinar, and so it was great to hear their perspectives on issues and kind of what AWC is looking forward in the next legislative session. And they encouraged us to get with our representatives now, make sure our priorities are there and in front of them, because this is going to be a very hard budget season coming up. So, that was the biggest takeaway, and I'll look at my notes and I'll kind of send something off to the council at a later date.
Perfect. Thank you. Look forward to that. No, and appreciate Councilmember Campos was also at the CBHA grand opening, and just what a gift to our community, that facility. What a gift to the people they're going to serve, and really what a gift to the needs out there in West Pasco of people who really need it. And I had the pleasure of joining Director Sarah this afternoon, very early afternoon, on a Teams meeting with the BF-COG, just advocating for what we believe are regional priorities, not only as a region for our transportation network, but just what we kind of need here specifically in Pasco. And really appreciated working with her on the team, and thought that we represented Pasco well, and just made a great case for all of our needs here. Very good. Not seeing any more comments. Let's move on. Number 8, hearings and council action or ordinances and resolutions relating thereto. Public hearing to consider Lightspeed Networks Incorporated franchise renewal. And speaking of Director Sarah, good evening, ma'am. You're up.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. For this item, Deputy Director Ames will provide a presentation and answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. Bear with me while I get my notes ready. All right, so this evening we are talking about Lightspeed Networks telecommunication franchise, and you have seen a version of this same process recently before with NFC was the most recent one that I came and did this same sort of thing. So as a reminder, telecommunication franchises are governed by federal regulations, state regulations, and our own Pasco regulations. The federal says that we must provide for franchises that cover telecommunications services. The state law allows us to regulate where they are placed within the right-of-way, but we cannot prohibit them entirely. And then our own Pasco regulations provide for a franchise agreement covering the use of the right-of-way for those telecommunication purposes. And that's where we are today, is a renewal of a franchise agreement for Lightspeed Networks. Lightspeed Networks is a fiber telecommunications provider. They serve lots of customers in Washington State, as well as in Oregon. So we are one of those places. There's also Yakima Valley and the other of the Tri-Cities. Also Benton County and Franklin County. And they are looking to be a connection for people who live here. And they have been here since at least 2012. So this is not a new thing for us. This is a map that shows their current network. The red lines are aerial lines, so those are affixed to poles, and then the blue lines are underground, so that means they're in a conduit under the ground. Lightspeed does not have any plans to expand right now. However, if they did, they would need to follow the rules that are set forth in the franchise agreement, which involves permitting and fees on each of the location bases. With that, I would answer any questions and then invite you to hold your public hearing.
Thank you, Ms. Ames. Any questions or comments from council? Mr. Prowse.
Thank you. The only question I have is, what abilities does the city have to ensure when a telecommunications company or any company that's working in the right of way to really put back, whatever people's property the way it was, then afterwards? Because I've heard a lot of complaints recently in the past couple months of, people's driveways getting tore up, their grass getting tore up, and then it doesn't look the same. Who enforces that? Is that the Public Works Department that goes out there to ensure that it looks as new or if not better? Like, how does that part work?
So I believe that would be part of the permitting process, which goes through community and economic development. They do have inspectors who focus in the right-of-way and check the work that is done within the right-of-way.
So it would be one of the CED, like Public Works Directors, or, yeah, I'm sorry, inspectors, or would it be code enforcement?
No, it would be part of the project, so it would be an
Okay.
assigned inspector.
Okay. I don't know, I feel like we need to put something that has more teeth in it, because a lot of individuals complain. A lot of people take pride in on their lawns, right? We want,
course.
you know, I'm pushing for geoscaping, but at the same time, we have individuals who have immaculate lawns, and they're getting upset because their lawns are getting tore up, and then, you know, or they're doing construction, and they leave it, a lot of dust and dirt on the sidewalks, they don't clean it up. So that's where people get frustrated with the city, because we're not holding them to that, you know, franchise agreement. And so, sure, is there something that can be looked at so we can beef up these agreements where, I don't know, we find them if, you know, that there's certain criteria that they have to meet?
Well, I think that that certainly could be a discussion. I would, but I would say this one in particular, they're not planning to do any construction at this point, so it may not be the best timing to handle that discussion. But I think absolutely, if council wants to change the way we do franchises and the requirements thereon, that is something that council can decide to do, for sure.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. No, I think those are great comments. People do get upset about that and blame us for it. Anybody else? Questions for Ms. Ames or anything else? Okay. With that, we will conduct our public hearing, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, this public hearing is open. Would anybody in council chambers like to speak on this Lightspeed Networks Incorporated franchise renewal? Anybody online? Ms. Sigdell? Nope. One more time. Anybody in the chamber want to speak on this Lightspeed Networks Incorporated franchise renewal? Going once? Going twice? Not seeing anyone come forward. With no one online, we will close this public hearing and move on. Number 9, ordinances and resolutions not relating to hearings. Letter A, ordinance 4852, amending the PMC 10.70.080, parking prohibited. And for this, we're going back again to you, Director Sarah.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council members. This item was discussed in the workshop last Monday, and you had a full presentation from our engineering manager identifying the process and the analysis that was done on 27th Avenue between Sylvester and Urban Street. And the recommendation is to adopt the ordinance that prohibits parking along that one block on both sides of the street to allow for safe transit in that road, as well as turning movements for the businesses that exist there, for ingress and egress of those businesses. And I'm happy to address any questions you may have.
Hey, thank you, Director Sarah. Any questions or comments for Ms. Sarah? Not seeing any. I think that's an easy one. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to adopt ordinance number 4852, an ordinance of the City of Pasco, Washington, amending Pasco Municipal Code Section 10.70.080, Schedule 3, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets, to establish new parking prohibited area on North 27th Avenue, south of West Sylvester Street, and further authorize publication by summary only.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Milne to amend the PMC 10.70.080, parking prohibited, seconded by Councilmember Perales. Discussion? Not seeing any. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Letter B, resolution number 4776, adoption of water use efficiency program goals. And again, Director Sarah.
Good evening again. I will ask for Deputy Director Ames to do this presentation for you. We're happy to address questions you may have at the end. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Mayor and members of Council. I'm here tonight to talk about water use efficiency rule. You actually received a presentation on this topic in March of this year, so I have recalled back to some of that information. At this point, what we've brought before you is the goals. These goals have been developed through the water system planning effort, and they are required as part of a law that went into place in 2003. The purpose of the law was to reduce demand that growing communities place on our state's water resources, and it applies to all municipal water suppliers within Washington state. And this is a slide that you saw in March. However, when you saw it, it was the next steps slide. So at this point, we have considered council feedback that we received at that meeting. We've updated the water use efficiency measures and goals. We held a public forum on June 30, 2026 to solicit feedback on those measures and goals. And that means that brings us to today here at City Council, asking for adoption of those goals. In the future, still to be done, our annual water use efficiency performance reports, which go to the Department of Health, and we will be updating these water use efficiency goals every 10 years as part of our water system plan updates. And this is at least our second update to these goals, I believe probably third based on the timing of all of this. So the goals that have been developed, they're very similar to what they have been in the past. They are reducing the average demand per equivalent residential unit, and I want to talk about that a little bit. That is the way that we measure water use. It does not mean that it only applies to residential units. It applies to any user on our water system within the City of Pasco. The equivalent residential unit is a way to help compare use, because a lot of times homes are different sizes, businesses have different water needs, water use needs. So this allows us to have sort of a baseline comparison. We also will be maintaining our distribution system leakage at 10% or less on an annual basis. And that's the distribution, so that's between our treatment and the end user. That's the system that we maintain. Once it gets to the end user, then it's that first goal about usage. And that will be, if you have questions, I'll do my best to answer.
Thank you, Ms. Ames. Anybody have any questions or comments regarding this? Mr. Perales.
Yeah, I got a couple, but I'm just going to send this off to the city manager's office, and then he'll distribute to the staff. Maybe you guys could provide some education to us in the community. But I put a post out just talking about the water use efficiency program, and I got a lot of feedback. And I'll just go through a couple of questions. Like, for instance, one resident asked that we clarify what the 300 gallons per day actually means. Residents would want to know either reducing the target from 330 to 300 gallons per household per day is voluntary, how individual households are affected, and what happens if Pasco does not meet the 2037 goals. Another question that I got was put the projected savings into context, such as the projected 42,350 gallons per day of savings should also be presented as a percentage of Pasco's total daily water consumption. And I think that would help residents kind of put into better context. And it just goes on. A lot of individuals were just giving feedback, and they also gave feedback about the new billing system and when are they going to see some of those things that we talked about, like water use history and stuff. One question one resident brought up was irrigation. In regards to irrigation, now we have donut holes. So those individuals aren't being held to these water use efficiency program standards. I mean, does the Franklin County Irrigation District going to have their own?
May I clarify a little bit? So these are not meant for an individual to be worried. This is for us as a water system, as a provider. So it's not a regulation where we're going to be cracking down and finding people and saying, oh, you're using more than your ER use. That is not at all what we're talking about. This is for us, as we are a purveyor of water, to be thinking of ways that we can make sure water's not leaking and it's not getting wasted. There's nothing related to an individual's compliance that has anything to do with this. So it's a much bigger picture and not on the granular level, that those questions sound like, oh my goodness, I'm worried. This is not something to be worried about as an individual using water within the city of Pasco. It's actually something to be good thinking that so that we will have water and continue to have water over time. That's really the focus of this more. As far as the donut holes, so to speak, if they are getting water from us, they're considered one of our customers. But again, it's not a regulation for them. It's really for us as the purveyor to say we're taking measures to make sure that there's water for our kids and for their kids, and not so much about how are things happening in each individual house or business within the city of Pasco.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I understood that, but I think, when individuals see things,
Sure.
they're like,
Yeah.
oh, they're really going to start.
How does
cracking
this
down
affect
on-
me?
Right, exactly. Another comment on here was, if we're, go ahead.
I forgot. I'm so sorry. The irrigation is a separate system for us. So there are certainly places within Pasco where people are using potable water, the drinking water, to irrigate. And that's something that that we would include in the goal of reducing use. But these water use efficiencies goals and measures only apply to our potable water. The irrigation system is separate.
I don't want to get too into the weeds, but like one resident brought up, individuals, like right now when I left my house, my neighbor was watering his lawn, and it wasn't hitting his lawn, it was hitting the street.
Yeah.
So and they said, well, that happens also like at the parks. We see, it's watering the roads. So how do we mitigate that?
Sure.
You know, is there something we can regulate? If code enforcement sees something like that, hey, you're watering the street, right? You're not really watering your lawn.
I think that depends, of course, on council and council deciding this is an issue. I have worked for jurisdictions more like counties with farming where those very large irrigation guns, if they hit the road, they can actually damage the road. So we would be able to say, hey, your water is going on the road. We need you to stop that. And there could be a similar situation for City of Pasco. It wouldn't necessarily come from something like this, though.
Okay. No, I appreciate it. I'll send the questions and stuff.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything? I think this is really timely. I saw reading the news this morning that Lake Powell is at one of its lowest levels ever, and Lake Mead down there. And again, I brought this up before, but we have that big old waterway that flows right by us, and it's so easy for all of us just to take this for granted that there's always going to be water. It's never going to be an issue. And yeah, granted, we're probably in a better spot than they are in the desert Southwest, but at the same time, I think it's an opportunity for us to be stewards to, as you said, to preserve water for the generations, our kids and grandchildren and so on. So appreciate you bringing this back to us. Anything else, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve resolution number 4776, establishing water use goals.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Milne to approve resolution number 4776, seconded by Councilor Member Perales. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Letter C, cannabis, resolution setting a public hearing to consider an amendment to PMC 25.10.025. And for this, we're going to our Deputy City Manager. Good evening, Ms. Sigdell.
Thank you, Mayor, and evening, Council. The item that you have in front of you today is just to set the public hearing for September 8th at 7 p.m. So our council chambers here or online if people want to sign up. So that is the action item in front of you today.
Perfect, thank you. Questions, comments from council? All right, not seeing any. Take a motion.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, as you know, I'm against this, but I will do the motion. Again, it's always good when our residents get a chance to talk on the issue and see how the vote falls later on in the year. So I move to approve resolution number 4777, setting 7 p.m. on Tuesday, September 8th, 2026, as the time and date for an open record public hearing to consider an amendment to the Pasco Municipal Code increasing the cannabis retail license density limit from 4 to 5 licenses and increasing the number of licenses authorized through the state's social equity in cannabis program from 1 to 2.
I'll second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Milne to set a public hearing for PMC 25.10.025. That would be resolution number 4774 4777, seconded by Councilmember Perales. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay? Nay. Looks like it passes with the mayor abstaining. Number 10, unfinished business, not seeing any. 11, new business, not seeing any. 12, miscellaneous discussion. Mr. Stewart, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Just a few items this evening. First and foremost, although as Rich is walking out, I did want to recognize that last week we were at the Washington City Manager Association Conference, and Richa was recently elected by the members throughout the state of Washington as a board member for that organization.
Congratulations.
So I look forward to her participation in that and representing the city of Pasco and helping to advance the quality of city management across the state of Washington. So in addition to that, actually this will be my first week of having completed 1 year with the city of Pasco as the city manager. I've enjoyed being here. So my wife and family definitely love being here and have enjoyed the connections that we've had here. Just a couple other positive things here that are happening this week. This Thursday is our employee appreciation picnic. Invite the council to come out and join us for that. During that, we will recognize 4 of our employees of the year, as well as giving out our first project of the year recognitions to a team of employees that have done great things for us over the last several months. And then finally, as council's aware, we have our retreat on Friday at Columbia Basin College. So we look forward to spending the day and staff providing some information, but more importantly, listening to your priorities as we begin the labor of putting together the budget for the next 2 years. So we look forward to that as well. And I stand for any questions the council might have.
Very good. Any questions or comments for Mr. Stewart? Not seeing anybody have anything else to add. Okay, not seeing any. Thank you, Mr. Stewart. We'll move on to number 13. It's an executive session. It's saying 30 minutes here, 15 altogether. Okay. Let's do number 13, executive session for 15 minutes. Letter A, discussion with legal counsel about current or potential litigation per RCW 42.30.110, paragraph 1, subsection I. Letter B, to review performance of a public employee per RCW 42.30.110, paragraph 1, subsection G. It's 15 minutes. It is just going to be our city attorney, Mr. Kenny, and council. The time is just turned 7:38. So we will return at 7:53.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, yes.
There were 2 items that staff wanted to address with council in closed session before you did the other 2. So under item A, there's 3 items that we would like that are covered underneath that.
Oh, did I miss that? Okay.
But we have 2 that staff will address, and you have 1 under item A that council and the attorney will address, and then you have item B that council and the attorney will address.
Okay. Oh, I see discussion. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So 30 minutes, and so we'll split it 50-50 with staff for the first one. Okay. So
and no action to follow, correct, Mayor?
I'm not expecting or planning any. Thank you for the clarification, Great. Mr. Kenny. The time is 7:39, so we'll ask for 30 minutes here. So we will return at 8:09. Thank you.